Don't you dare act like you didn't know what you were doing, my mom yelled into the phone. Her voice was so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. We're family. You can't just leave us because your feelings got hurt. I sat in my home office, staring at the December rain tapping on the windows of my townhouse in Austin. I felt frozen and angry at the same time. Everything I believed about my family had just fallen apart. And it all started with one text message. My brother Paul sent a message to our family group chat by mistake. He meant to send it to a secret chat he had with just our parents. My name is Mary Tyler. I'm 37 years old. Until yesterday, I thought I was doing the right thing, helping my parents with their retirement costs. I built a successful marketing consulting business after college. 6 years ago, when the business really started to grow, I began sending my parents extra money every month. They always had money problems, and I wanted to help them relax and enjoy life without worrying about bills. What I didn't know was how they truly saw me. The family ATM just sent another $4,000, Paul had written. Then my dad replied, LMAO, keep that gravy train going. She's too dumb to know we're using her. Then my mom added, I just bought those golf clubs your dad wanted. Mary would lose it if she knew her money wasn't going to medicine. More screenshots kept coming. Years of texts about how to trick me, how to use my kindness, how to get even more money from me. I couldn't breathe as I read them all. Paul tried to delete the messages, but it was too late. I had seen everything, 4 years of them laughing, behind my back. Planning expensive trips while telling me they couldn't afford their pills. Buying new cars while saying their heating bill was too high. My phone hasn't stopped ringing or buzzing since. My dad said they were just joking. My mom... Well, she screamed. Paul said I was taking everything the wrong way. He claimed he only went along with it to stay on our parents' good side. But their own words showed the truth. The rain outside got heavier, just like the anger building up inside me. I had been paying for their comfortable retirement for years, thinking I was helping them survive. But while I was trying to help, they were living a good life, laughing at me behind my back and using me. They thought their dumb, successful daughter was easy to fool. The betrayal hurt more than I ever expected. A loud knock at the door pulled me out of my thoughts. I walked over, still holding my phone. I looked through the peephole. Paul was standing there, soaked from the rain. He looked desperate. I felt my jaw tighten. I didn't want to talk to him, but maybe it was time to hear him out. I also had some things I needed to say. I opened the door but didn't let him in. What do you want? I asked. Paul looked miserable, rain dripping from his hair. Mary, please, can I come in? I can explain everything. Explain what? How you've all been laughing at me for years? I held up my phone, still showing one of his texts. Just told Mary Dad needs dental surgery. LOL. It's not what it looks like, Paul said, his voice shaky. Mom and Dad, they started it. I just went along with it. So you were just following orders? I snapped. Like some kind of financial soldier? The words came out harsher than I meant, but I couldn't stop myself. I've been sending $4,000 every month, Paul. That's $37,000 a year. For 6 years. Do you know what that adds up to? Paul looked at the ground. I know it's a lot. $181,000, Paul. And that doesn't even include the extra money I sent for Dad's medical bills or Mom's broken furnace last winter. I felt sick saying it. I remembered how I skipped a vacation to send them another $6,000 for a furnace that probably never broke. Look, I know they took it too far, Paul said. But they're getting older. They're 70, not 100. Dad's still golfing every weekend with the expensive clubs I paid for, thinking he needed medicine. I was shouting now. I didn't care if the neighbors heard. Please, Mary. They're freaking out. Dad's worried about his heart meds. I let out a bitter laugh. The fake meds, or the real ones I've been paying for while you all spend the money on luxury stuff? Paul's face fell. I messed up, he whispered. No, Paul said. But they really do need your help now. They've gotten used to the extra stuff. They can't even pay their mortgage without you. The mortgage on the lakeside condo they bought last year? I asked, while telling me they were struggling to pay rent on a small apartment. A strange calm came over me. I think you should leave, I said. Mary, please. No, I've heard enough of Mary, please. I'm not Mary, please anymore. I'm just Mary, and Mary is done. After Paul left, I sank into the couch, my whole body shaking. The screenshots from their secret group chat played over and over in my head. In one, my dad had written, "Just told Mary the roof is leaking. Let's see how much we can get out of her this time." My mom replied, "She's such a sucker for helping family. I almost feel bad. Almost." Then Paul added, "Maybe we should start betting on how fast she sends the money." To them, I wasn't family. I was just an ATM, someone to use, a joke. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank account. There it was, $4,000 sent every month for the past 6 years. And then all the emergencies, another $41,000 gone. Dental work that never happened. Car repairs for problems that weren't real. Medical bills for treatments they never got. And what did I give up? I waited 2 extra years to buy my own home, thinking they needed help with rent. I worked 72-hour weeks to pay for my life and theirs. I skipped vacations, bought used furniture, and cut back on my own needs so they could live comfortably. And for what? So they could laugh at me? Buy golf clubs and go on cruises while I worried if they had enough to eat? I opened another tab and logged into the investment account I had secretly created for them 4 years ago. My surprise gift for when they turned 75. A retirement fund. I had been putting in $2,000 every month. The balance showed just over $43,000. My finger hovered over the close account button, but I didn't press it. Not yet. I needed to think clearly. I called my best friend Jessica. She's also my lawyer. "They did what?" she almost shouted after I told her everything. "I know," I said. My voice felt empty. "I've been so stupid." "No, Mary, you've been kind. They're the ones who should feel ashamed." Her voice softened. "What do you want to do now?" "I don't know," I whispered. I admitted it. Part of me wanted to cut them off completely. Another part wanted to face them and hear whatever excuses they might have. "Before you do anything," Jessica said, "we need to look at what you've set up for them legally. Are they on any of your accounts, insurance policies, that retirement fund you mentioned?" I felt a cold chill. I hadn't even thought about how connected we still were financially. Besides the monthly bank transfers and the investment account, I had added them to my premium health insurance plan 3 years ago as dependents. My dad's heart medication, if it was even real, was being paid for through my insurance. They were also listed as beneficiaries on my life insurance policy. "I need to untangle all of this," I said out loud. "One step at a time," Jessica said. "First, gather proof of everything you've given them. Bank records, texts, anything. Second, make a list of all the financial ties you want to end. Fourth, decide if you want to explain to them why you're doing this." Right after we hung up, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "Your father is very upset. His blood pressure is through the roof because of your behavior. We need to talk now." Something inside me hardened. They were still trying to manipulate me, even now. They still thought I'd drop everything just because they mentioned a health issue. Not anymore. I opened my laptop and started taking screenshots of every monthly payment I had sent. Then I opened a new document and titled it Family Financial Support, 6 years. I listed every emergency they had claimed, every dollar I had sent, and every sacrifice I had made. By the time I finished, it was 14 pages long. The truth was clear. I wasn't just hurt. I was done. The next morning, I woke up feeling clear-headed for the first time in years. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Before I had time to second-guess myself, I called into work and told my assistant I needed a personal day. This was going to take all my focus. "Mary Tyler speaking," I said when my phone rang 30 minutes later. "Miss Tyler, this is Timothy from Kentucky Community Bank. I'm calling you back about closing an investment account." "Yes, thank you for calling me so quickly." I took a deep breath. "I need to close the supplemental retirement account I set up for Brian and Barbara Tyler." "I see. May I ask if there's a problem with the account?" "There's no problem with the account," I said calmly. I said, "Just a problem with who the money was meant for." After Timothy confirmed my identity and that I had full control of the account, he explained the steps. Since I was the only person listed on the account and it was set up as a gift, I could close it without telling my parents or getting their permission. The $3,500 in the account would be sent back to my main bank account within 4 business days. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Miss Tyler? He asked. Actually, yes, I said. I want to cancel all monthly transfers to the joint account of Brian and Barbara Tyler. That's currently set at $4,000 per month, correct? Correct, I said firmly. Please stop it immediately. Step 1. Done. Next, I called my health insurance provider. This part was harder. You can only remove dependents in the middle of the year for certain approved reasons, and finding out your parents were lying to you wasn't one of them. But after I explained everything to a helpful representative named Ronald, he found a way. Since they live in their own home and you no longer pay over 60% of their expenses, we can count this as a change in dependent status, he explained. They'll get a notice saying they've been removed from your policy at the end of the month. That gives them 30 days to find new coverage. That's perfect, I said. Thank you for understanding. Family stuff can be tough, Ronald said gently. I've been through it too. Step 3. Done. Changing the life insurance was the easiest of all. I filled out a simple form online and removed my parents as the people who would get the money if anything happened to me. I replaced them with a local children's charity. By noon, I had cut almost every financial tie with my family, all except one, my brother Paul's student loan. I'd been paying $800 a month for 4 years. He still had 3 years left. That one made me pause. Paul had been part of the lies, but he also seemed like he felt bad. Was he just doing what our parents wanted, or was he only sorry because he got caught? Just then, a text from Paul popped up on my screen. Mom and Dad are freaking out. Dad says his prescription was denied at the pharmacy. What did you do? That told me everything I needed to know. No apology, no responsibility. Just more pressure to send money again. I replied, their consequences are not my problem anymore. The phone rang right away. It was Paul. I let it go to voicemail. Instead, I opened my email and began writing a formal letter to my parents. I attached the 14-page document I had created the night before. I gave the email a simple title, Financial Support Provided, 2019 to 2024. The message read, Brian and Barbara. Attached is a full record of the financial support I have given you over the past 6 years. The total is $225,800. You have been removed from my health insurance effective October 31st, and the retirement account has been closed. Your own messages, saved in screenshots, show how you lied to me, used me, and made fun of my kindness. Do not contact me again unless it is to return the money you took by lying. Mary Tyler. I read the email twice, attached the document, and hit send. Step 3. Done. Then I blocked their numbers on my phone, removed them from my social media, and sat back in my chair. I was exhausted but also relieved. For the first time in years, my money was truly mine. I enjoyed 3 peaceful days before they found another way to reach me. At 9:10 p.m., while I was reviewing work, the doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and saw my parents and Paul on my front porch. Their faces showed a mix of anger and fear. I didn't open the door. Instead, I called Jessica. They're at my house, I whispered as if they could hear me. Don't let them in, Jessica said firmly. If they won't leave, call the police. You have the right. That feels like a lot, I said. Trust me, Mary. Once they're inside, it'll be much harder, emotionally and legally. The doorbell rang again. Then came pounding. Mary, my dad shouted. We know you're in there. You can't just shut us out without talking. I sent Paul a text. I have nothing to say. Please leave or I'll call the police. Through the peephole, I saw Paul check his phone, show it to my parents, and start arguing with them. My mom was crying. My dad's face was red with rage. Finally, they left, but not before my dad yelled, You're going to regret this, Mary. We're family. You can't just walk away. The irony wasn't lost on me. They had walked away from treating me like family a long time ago. They saw me as nothing more than a source of money. The next morning, the emails started. My mom sent a long one, full of guilt, saying my dad's health was getting worse without his medication. My dad sent a short, angry message telling me to stop this childish behavior now. Paul begged me to reconsider, saying they couldn't make their mortgage payment without my help. I forwarded every message to Jessica without replying. 2 days later, I got a certified letter in the mail from my parents. Inside was a handwritten note from my mom. Mary, we don't understand why you're punishing us like this. Yes, we made a few jokes in bad taste, but that's what families do. Your father's heart medicine costs $600 a month without insurance. Our mortgage is due next week, and we can't pay it without your help. We might lose our condo. Is that what you want? For your elderly parents to be homeless? Please stop this and talk to us. I almost laughed at the word elderly. They were only 70 and both healthy. In fact, my dad's golf game looked great in the country club photos Paul had accidentally included in one of the texts. Just to be sure, I called the pharmacy where my dad gets his medicine. I pretended to be my mom. I'm calling about my husband Brian Tyler's heart medication, I said. How much is it without insurance? Let me check, the pharmacist said. After a moment, they answered, It's $50 for a 30-day supply, Mrs. Tyler, not $600. Another lie. That evening, Paul showed up outside my office just as I was leaving. He looked awful, tired, with dark circles under his eyes and messy clothes. Mary, please, he said, stepping in front of me. They're falling apart. Dad's talking about bankruptcy. That's not my problem, I said, trying to move past him. How can you be so cold? They're our parents, are they? Real parents don't take advantage of their kids. Real parents don't laugh behind their daughter's back and call her stupid. They made mistakes, but no, I interrupted. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. What they did was planned, and they did it for years. The condo is going into foreclosure. They can't keep it without your help. For a second, I felt guilty. But then I remembered one of the screenshots. Just convinced Mary we're struggling with rent. Meanwhile, we're closing on the lake condo next week. Cheers. They shouldn't have bought a home they couldn't afford, I said. What about Dad's medicine? The one that costs $50, not $600? He can get a part-time job if he needs to cover that. Paul looked shocked. How did you... I checked. No more lies, Paul. I walked to my car. Tell them to look into government help. That's what it's there for. Mary, he called after me. They're talking about moving in with me. I can't deal with that. I turned back and said, That sounds like your problem, Paul. Welcome to consequences. 3 weeks after cutting off my family, I sat in my first therapy session. I'd finally done something for myself. Dr. Thomas, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes and a serious attitude, listened as I told her the whole messy story. Every day I go back and forth between feeling strong and feeling awful, I admitted. Like yesterday, I heard from a mutual friend that my parents had to cancel their country club membership. I actually felt guilty about it. For hours. That's normal, Dr. Thomas said gently. You're grieving the family you thought you had, and that includes grieving the role you played as their helper, their supporter. But they didn't deserve my support, I said. They were just using me. Both things can be true, she replied. They didn't deserve your help, and you can still feel sad about no longer giving it. I sat with that for a moment. She was right. Then she added, being the one who always helped them, it became part of who you are. Now you're figuring out who you are without that role. I hadn't thought about it that way before, but it made sense. For 6 years, I saw myself as the successful daughter who took care of her parents. Without that, who was I? As I left the session, my phone rang. It was a surprise call from Uncle Ryan, my dad's brother who lived all the way in Iowa. We weren't very close, but I picked up out of curiosity. Mary, it's Uncle Ryan, he said. I just got a weird call from your dad. He asked if he and your mom could come live with us for a while. He said you cut them off and they're about to lose their home. Is that true? I sighed. It's complicated, Uncle Ryan. I figured, he said. Your dad has always been good at twisting the story. His voice was dry and calm. Want to tell me your side? So I did. I told him everything, the screenshots, the lies about the medicine, the money, all of it. When I finished, there was a long pause. I'm not surprised, he finally said. Your dad tried something similar with me years ago. That's why we're not close. I refused to pay for his lifestyle. You knew? I asked, feeling hurt all over again. Why didn't you warn me? Would you have listened? He asked. They had you believing they were broke and you were saving them. Sometimes people have to see the truth for themselves. He was right. Back then, I wouldn't have believed him. For what it's worth, he added, I told your dad I wouldn't take them in. I said they need to downsize and live within their means. He hung up on me. After we ended the call, I felt strangely comforted. I wasn't crazy for cutting them off. I wasn't a bad daughter. I was just their latest target, and I had finally caught on. That evening, I got a text from Paul, this time from a new number. Mom and Dad are moving into my spare room next week. They're selling the condo. Dad's furious. I can't believe this is happening. I didn't respond. 2 days later, another message. The condo is on the market. Dad's car got repossessed yesterday. This is getting really bad, I almost replied. I almost asked if they needed help with moving costs. But then I remembered a screenshot. Paul had once texted. Mary just asked if Dad's okay after his heart appointment, the one for the fake heart problem. They had made their choices. Now they were living with the consequences. In the 4th week, I got an email from someone I didn't know. The subject line read, Message from your parents. It turned out they had asked a family friend to contact me since I had blocked them everywhere. The email explained how they had to sell most of their furniture, how my dad's health was getting worse from stress, and how they had applied for food stamps, which the email said was deeply embarrassing for my proud father. It ended with, they just want a chance to talk to you, to explain, to apologize. I thought about it for 6 seconds, then hit delete. I knew their idea of an apology would be whatever they thought might get the money flowing again. I was done with that. Done being used. Done being their ATM. For the first time in years, my money was going toward my future, not their fake emergencies. The guilt was finally fading. And in its place, something unexpected was growing. Freedom. 7 months after I cut all contact, I came home from a business trip and saw something that stopped me cold. My parents were sitting on my front steps. My father looked thinner, and my mother's once perfect hair was showing gray at the roots. Their clothes looked cheaper than what they used to wear. I didn't recognize them at first. My first instinct was to turn around and drive away. But I remembered what Dr. Thomas and I had talked about in therapy. I was stronger now. I could face them, and not fall back into their trap. I parked in the driveway and slowly walked up to them, my heart pounding. What are you doing here? I asked. Mary, my mom said, her voice shaky. Please, we just want to talk. We've learned our lesson, my dad added. These past months have been awful. I unlocked the door and said, You have 6 minutes. They walked inside and sat stiffly on the couch, not saying a word at first. I stayed standing with my arms crossed while they sat. We're sorry, my mother began. We never should have taken advantage of your kindness. My father nodded. We've lost everything, the condo, the car, our savings. We had to move in with Paul, and his place is so small your mom has to sleep on a pull-out couch. The country club took away our membership, my mom added. All our friends there have stopped calling. My medicine has been so expensive. Without your insurance, my dad continued. Medicare doesn't cover it all. I listened to them list all the things they had lost. I waited for a real apology, but it never came. There was no, we're sorry we hurt you, or we were wrong to mock you. Just a long list of their problems, as if everything that went wrong was my fault. Is that it? I asked once. They stopped talking. We want to make things right, my mother said. We've really suffered, Mary. We've learned our lesson. What lesson would that be? I asked. They looked at each other, unsure. That we shouldn't have taken you for granted, my dad finally said. Translation. They just regret getting caught. No, I said quietly. You haven't learned anything. What do you mean? My mother asked, her voice getting a little sharper. We came all this way to apologize. No, I said. You came all this way to tell me how hard things have been without my money. Not once have you said how much you hurt me. Not once have you taken real responsibility. We said we're sorry, my father said. For getting caught, I replied. Not for what you did. I took a deep breath. In the past 7 months, I've spent a lot of time thinking about what a healthy family looks like. And this, I gestured between us, this isn't it. It's not using your child for money. It's not laughing at her behind her back. My mother's face turned cold. So you're just going to punish us over a few jokes? This isn't punishment, I said firmly. This is me protecting myself from people who've shown they don't really care about me. We're your parents, my dad said. Like that should fix everything. And I was your daughter, I replied. Not your personal bank. Then I walked to the door and opened it. I wish you well, I said. I really do. I hope you figure out how to live within your budget. But I can't be part of your lives anymore. You don't mean that, my mother whispered, her eyes filling with tears. We need you. That's the problem, I said. You don't need me. You need what I can give you. That's not the same thing. My father stood up, and his earlier regret quickly turned into anger. So that's it? After everything we've done for you? What exactly have you done for me, Dad, besides take and take and take? I asked. He didn't have an answer. As they walked out the door, my mom turned back. You'll regret this, Mary. In the end, family is all you have. I shook my head. No, Mom. Family is supposed to be the people who love you no matter what. I've built that kind of family with my friends. What you gave me was just a deal. Give us money, and we pretend to care. I closed the door behind them and leaned against it. I listened as their footsteps faded down the walkway. I thought I might feel sad or guilty, but I didn't. What I felt was peace. The ATM was closed for good, and for the first time in my adult life, I was truly free.